Hi, and welcome to Mindful of Christ Ministries Academy. So you are on your first session, and we will be talking about lifting the lid on limiting beliefs. So let's dive straight into the course, shall we? So the first thing that you need to be aware of is awareness. We have the 3 A's. We have awareness, acceptance, and action. So you're already taking action. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But awareness, that there's a lot more depth to that. Perhaps you're already aware that you have difficulties. Perhaps you have started recognizing those chains, those thoughts that are preventing you from moving forward on your journey and relationship with Christ. So awareness in this sense, we're talking about emotional awareness. How aware of you of your emotions, of your feelings, of your thoughts? And in this session, we will assess, identify, and recognize any problem areas that you may be having. And then we move on to acceptance. And this part is about taking that responsibility, taking control, but at the same time, letting go of control and giving that control over to God. It's what Joyce Meyer says, that let go, let God concept. And this session and the next will be about how you will do that. But in order to let go, we need to identify and address what worries, thoughts, emotions that need letting go of. Okay, so in this session, as the title says, we are going to be lifting the lid on limiting beliefs. So let's start with, what are limiting beliefs? So I'm not going to ask you what are your limiting beliefs, because most likely they are your truth. These are your thoughts, your language, those things that you say about yourself, those things that you believe to be your truth about who you are, how you perceive yourself, and how you perceive the world. So what we're going to do is we are going to start creating doubt on those beliefs and start reframing them. So limiting beliefs, or your truth, your belief that you have about yourself and the world, could be anything to do with worry, doubt, fear. These could be phrases like, I'm useless, I'm no good, I'm ugly, I'm worthless, no one loves me. The list goes on and on and on. Are these phrases or thoughts familiar to you? Perhaps you have other ones, but we are going to lift the lid on those now. So step 1, what limiting thoughts and beliefs do you have? Then step 2, you're going to think about what evidence there is to support this belief. Step 3, could they be untrue? What is an alternative explanation? And step 4, I will want you to think about 3 reasons or evidence support this new belief. Okay, so you download the file or open up the document that you have that's attached to this session. I'll be going through each step with you, and then it's your turn. Take some time to think about each of these steps. So let's go back to step 1. What limiting thoughts and beliefs do you have? Pause the video and make a note in the limiting beliefs section of what limiting beliefs you have. These may be something that you've been thinking about or believe about yourself recently. Perhaps you've been struggling for the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years and beyond. Have a think about what these may be and list them all there in that section of the table. And then step 2, you're going to be thinking about what evidence there is that you have that support this belief. So perhaps if we go back to the phrase, I am useless, perhaps was there a time where you sat an exam and failed? That would be your supporting evidence. Go down your list of limiting beliefs and see if you can see any supporting evidence for that belief. And then step 3, we are going to have a think about, you are going to have a think about whether they can be untrue. What is the alternative explanation? So going back to that I'm useless example, the alternative explanation could be, perhaps I was tired that day, perhaps I hadn't studied enough, perhaps I hadn't had breakfast. That would be an alternative explanation from why you failed that exam. It may not have anything to do with your intelligence or how well you do in other areas of your life. Perhaps it is just that one single event. Perhaps it's a couple of events. But whatever you write down, find an alternative explanation for each. This may take some time. Perhaps you have to have a think about it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a day. And if you're really struggling here, then ask the Lord. Ask the Lord to shine his light on that darkness. Shine his light on that belief. Ask him to tell you and show you what that alternative explanation may be, and not forgetting to spend that time listening to his response. It may not be instant, but it will come. If you ask him those specific questions, it will come. And then fill in the alternative explanation section of the chart. Then step 4, I want you now to think of at least 3 reasons or evidence to support the new belief. If it was the fact that you prayed and God gave you a response, then that is your new evidence and reason to support that new belief. If you come up with it on your own, think of new evidence to show that that limiting belief that you did in that first section is in fact untrue. So say, for instance, going back to that I'm useless belief, the alternative explanation, and then the new evidence could be, yes, well, I achieved at X, Y, and Z. You fill in the blanks. Or here are my strengths. Recognizing where your talents lie. If we're talking about the I am useless phrase. We've all been given talents. Some of us have a certain talent, someone else may not, but that person that may not has different skills and talents, whether you believe it yet or not. But pop that new evidence in there and fill out that chart. And then next week, we'll be continuing with dealing with those limiting beliefs. I hope that's helpful. I hope this has helped you. See you next time. God bless.